Hello, my name is Paul Parkinson. I'm the creator and co-author of the new book Sumerian Enigma. Let me welcome you into this video blog. In case you haven't read my book, I'd like to invite you to go to my website and have a look-see and browse through it. The website is called SumerianEnigma.com, but if you just go to below this video and click on the Show More tab, I'll link my website there and you can click it there. You can order the book from my website by clicking any of the download tabs, or you can go directly to Barnes & Noble or Amazon. The book is called The Sumerian Enigma, and the reason for this blog is that since I've released the book and we've launched the website, we're getting hundreds and hundreds of questions, and I want to thank you guys and gals out there for all those questions, and I ask you to keep them coming. I've chosen to answer those questions the best I could by doing a blog. Let me explain how I broke the questions down. I've categorized them into 6 areas, and they're called fact, past, present, politics, religion, and technology. And so as a question comes through, I'll click it, or I'll tag it, copy it, and paste it under the proper category. Let me expand a little bit. If any of you out there would like more categories or less categories, contact me. Drop me a note from my contact tab on my website. The category that gets the most questions in 2 weeks will be what we're talking about every 2 weeks, maybe every week, maybe every 3 weeks. Now, before I get into this week's question, I'd like to tell you why I wrote this book and why I think it's unique. First of all, I've been interested in the subject off and on again since the late 60s. I've read hundreds of books about the subject. And although the information has been around for decades and millions of people are sort of semi-familiar with the subject, I decided to write a book that would tell the story in a novel form and hopefully bypass an awful lot of the facts and textbooks written on this. I've had literally hundreds and hundreds of conversations with my colleagues and friends and customers, and normally because they saw some television special and they want to talk about ancient civilizations that academia is not acknowledging. And basically whenever I've tried to bring in the Sumerian facts into the conversation, it more or less sort of loses the conversation. And I guess my thought on that is that you can have any sort of theory that you like, but when you start bringing facts into it, it's a conversation killer for some reason. I think the Sumerian history is important. As I said, there's a wealth of information out there. It's been out there for decades and decades. But I believe this is the first novel that ties in the past and the present, and if I would have to make a guess, I would say probably 10% of the novel is in the past and 90% is in the present. Now onto the questions. The winner for this blog category is the past, and the names, there's 3 basic names that kept reappearing in the questions over and over again, and those are Eric von Däniken, Zechariah Sitchin, and Graham Hancock. And I guess the basic overall theme of those questions, they were asking me, how did I rate them? Well, I don't know if I'm qualified to rate them, but I think all 3 are fantastic, if that helps out there. The other theme of the questions were, do my theories differ from theirs? And if so, how much and why? And so we're going to try to take on those questions today in a brief form. Just to give you a little synopsis, Eric von Däniken was the author that actually started me on this journey back in the late 60s. His Chariots of the Gods literally stopped me in my tracks and opened my eyes to a different possibility. Eric took me from one ancient site to the next ancient site, and then from one myth to the next, and he would ask at each site, how is it possible that primitive man could have built these structures, especially when today there's some that we would have an incredibly difficult time building today if we could even duplicate them. The end result was a great deal of evidence and sort of led to a lot of different possibilities. Now on to Zecharia Sitchin. I would have to say that if Eric von Däniken gave me the wire frame to hang some new ideas on, Sitchin was the author that put the flesh on that wire frame and made it real for me. Zecharia is the author of 12 books, at least 12 books that are combined, that are known as the Earth Chronicles. If you're interested at all in this Sumerian Enigma and you haven't read Sitchin, let me recommend that you start off with the 12th planet. Sitchin brought to my attention the fact that Sumer was the first and greatest civilization in the ancient world, and that dates back about 6,000 years ago. It wasn't Egypt, it wasn't Greece, it was Sumer. All other ancient civilizations were lesser to some degree. So I guess the question is, how was Sumer so perfect, and why did others devolve? Now, according to academia, at the time, 6,000 years ago, that humankind was a group of hunter-gatherers, and then literally all of a sudden, poof, Sumer just pops up from nowhere. Now remember, I said that it was a perfect civilization. And I'm not going to go into all of the first that Sumer had, but I will say what's important is that they had the written word. And they wrote them on clay tablets, and their writing form is called cuneiform. And they baked these clay tablets, and it's a permanent record of their history. Today, in museums throughout the world, there are over 700,000 of these clay tablets, 700,000. Now, unfortunately, about 70,000 has been translated. And the Sumerians themselves answered the riddle of how they got all this technology and why their civilization was so perfect. And they said that the gods gave them their information. And I want to stress that I believe that's God with a little g. The tablets also include their creation story or creation myth, and it's called the Enuma Elish. It's obvious when you've read these 7 stone tablets that the 7 days of creation from Genesis were simply copied from the Enuma Elish. And so I guess Sitchin's question is, why isn't the Enuma Elish considered holy or relevant, since it was written literally 2,000 years before Genesis? And why isn't it actually recognized as the true beginning? Now, if we get to Graham Hancock, if you're not familiar with the name, I would almost guarantee you're familiar with his face. He is a world-class author and researcher and a great public speaker and a television personality, and he's been on a number of specials over the last 2 decades. He is one of these guys that not only talk the talk, but he walks the walk. He spent decades of traveling the world to do his research. His books are clear, well-researched, and to the point. His numerous books point out the fact that he believes that there was a worldwide civilization prior to the flood. Now, Sumer was after the flood. That was it popped up about 4,000 years after the flood. Researchers think that there was a worldwide catastrophe starting about 12,500 years ago. And so his whole theory is based on a worldwide high-tech civilization that existed prior to the flood. Now, he's not a proponent of the ancient alien theory. The video is getting a little long, and so let me try to put a point on this and sum things up. The three authors that I've mentioned, I have great respect for, and I agree with most of their conclusion, and but they still do leave a few small questions up in the air. With Von Däniken, he gives you a smorgasbord of stories and sites and myths, so many that's impossible to get your arms around them, make any sense, any real sense, or come to a single conclusion. With Sitchin, he is incredibly well researched in the past, but he leaves the present an open question, and really has never talked about it to my knowledge, at least publicly. And with Hancock, one of the things that he doesn't believe in is the fact that the ancient alien theory that said that these sites were built by ancient aliens. And my conclusion to that is, I agree with him. I don't think they were the builders. I think they were the contractors. I think they were the engineers. And mankind did the actual building. His argument is based on the fact that if there was an advanced race of beings here on the earth, they would have built these structures perfectly. And although they're close to being perfect, they're not perfect. And what I think is mankind is not perfect and never will be perfect. I'm not criticizing any of the three in any way. I'm just trying to give you a reason why I wrote this book. I was trying to give the reader a clear story of some of the facts of the past and back it up with historical settings and bring those facts into present day in a form that I hope that you would enjoy. I thank you for watching and hope to see you in a few weeks. Keep in touch through my website in the contact section. And if you like this video, please click on the subscribe tab, and I hope to have more videos in the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much.